The Division recently got done with a closed alpha test, a secretive affair where participants weren't allowed to share any footage from the game. Now, we're heading into a larger beta test, and Ubisoft has just announced the dates. The beta weekend will run from the 29th to the 31st of January for PS4 and PC players. Xbox One players who pre-order the game will get a one-day head start on the 28th, because that's how things work these days. After the sort of strange alpha test where all the public got to see was really poor quality leaked footage, the beta should give a wider audience a better sense of how the Division will play ahead of its March 8 release. Some fans are complaining about the length of the beta already, saying that 3 or 4 days isn't really enough, and they'd prefer a week instead. For my part, I think weekend-long betas are actually perfect, as a run for too long, and you can burn players out before the game is even released. This has happened to me with a number of games from Titanfall to Battlefront, where I play so much beta, that by the time the game itself rolls around, my interest has mostly waned. But the Division is a different sort of game. As I've recently discussed, it's a potential Destiny competitor with an open world full of loot and co-op missions. Like the original Destiny beta, expect this test to give only a slice of what you'll see in the full game, unlike other multiplayer-only titles which can more or less give the whole experience away. If you're burned out after 3 days or a week of the Division, that's a bad sign for its longer-term health. It has been noted that this beta isn't really a beta, but more or less a glorified stress test and early preview. That's probably true, but that's really how betas work these days with most AAA games. While there are games that remain in true beta for long periods of time, many Steam games, Blizzard games like Hearthstone and Overwatch, these micro-beta tests are really just advertising for the game. I mean, they're trading beta access for pre-orders, after all. This may annoy many fans, but it poses a risk for the publisher as well. When you debut your game early, you have to have enough confidence in it that the word of mouth will be positive enough to build up hype for the final product. I've seen some games where beta seem to do the opposite. Evolve comes to mind, so you can risk turn consumers off once they finally get their hands on the game. Even with a pre-order stipulation to access a beta, those are easy enough to cancel if you don't like what you see. I've actually heard pretty good things about the Division from those who played the alpha, and I really do hope it manages to compete with Destiny on some level, as that mostly uncharted genre has plenty of room for expansion, and competition will drive all the games in it to be better. You can register for the Division beta here if you want to get on the regular wait list. Usually, a few will trickle in over the first few days, and then the beta will open for a bigger stress test by granting everyone access, usually on the last day. And of course, if you want to guarantee your code, you can pre-order, and again, Xbox gets in a day early because reasons.